He is a two-time ISKA Kickboxing World Champion, representing Spain, Daniel Puertas. He is a four-time Muay Thai World Champion and the #2 Flyweight Kickboxing contender. The kicking machine, Superlek Kiatmuu9.
Superlek entered this bout as a four-time Muay Thai world champion and one of the most technically refined Muay Femur stylists of his generation. With over 139 wins, his sharp kicks, knees, and elite fight IQ have made him a dominant force in Asia and now on the global stage.
First, but he popped right back up and his volley got again.
Although this was his second major kickboxing title shot, he was determined to show that his Muay Thai pedigree translated seamlessly into kickboxing rules, aiming to control distance with leg kicks and fight discipline.
And that power might not carry up over somebody that is hooked.
He proudly carried the moniker the Kicking Machine and was focused on delivering a career-defining performance to claim his first kickboxing gold in one.
Superlek likes to keep that distance and throw that leg kick. And already you've seen Daniel closing a distance, so training that boxing.
5 3-minute rounds in this world title fight.
Yeah, you know, you see in Superlek right now establishing the jab and throwing more punches. He talked about that this week, that in his camp he was working on his hands a lot more this time so that he had more tools to bring.
You've seen Daniel trying to close that distance, trying to not stay in that kicking lane. Already kicking with a good overhand right. Just really focus on closing that distance, not getting Superlek. Now things different.
So that backward motion from Superlek that I was talking about before, just slight step backwards right there. Puertas' kick completely misses.
Puertas firing shots to the body here. 1 minute into the first round of 5.
Daniel's doing a good job in closing that distance over and over. I'd love to see him close the distance and try to get off angle instead of walking right in there.
Hard right and a nice outside leg kick from Superlek, and then another right and another kick.
This is that defense where Puertas shells up that I'm talking about. See him just there, nice slip off of that, came back with a counter, it didn't land, but that's better than him shelling up because Superlek's just able to tee off on him.
And that's what Daniel wants. He wants to have, he's throwing as Daniel starts to come forward and sets up, he's going to start catching him with that knee as he's coming in. He's got to be careful closing that distance that quick because that knee is coming with some velocity. That's why he's got to, when he closes that distance, he's got to get off angle.
Superlek lightning quick here, round 1, and then a big knee.
I'll tell you what, Puertas better come up with a knee.
The first round's kind of just reading your opponent, and then the second round they start to make their adjustments, and they go off from there. They're downloading the information, and then they make those updates. But I think Daniel's pressure starting to get to Superlek. You know, I think the last 10 seconds there.
Shivers down my body thinking about that.
All right, let's see if Daniel's going to continue that forward pressure, and he is.
What's the boxing from Puertas? I like him mixing up those body shots, getting into his range, and then those low kicks. He's got to lean on his strengths. Superlek kind of uses that push kick, right? It's like a defensive force field that kind of keeps him around him, just to keep his opponents away from him.
Yeah, because obviously Superlek wants to have that distance, Daniel closing that distance and try to get the outside.
Body kick landed from Superlek. Top now and then the knee.
Those two combinations kind of shelled up, not doing anything. He needs either to be in or he needs to be out.
Just need the leg right there.
1 minute into round 2 of this world title fight.
Leg kicks, you got to shut that distance down and just put him in that make it a fight. So maybe in the 4th round, Daniel pushing the pace and closing the distance are going to pay dividends and be able to have his way with it.
It's a striking game. He doesn't want to give him that space, make things nasty.
Absolutely.
Midway through round 2.
Yeah, it's very difficult to get Superlek out of position, and once you actually get him out of position, you cut that corner or something, have that angle. You have to take advantage of that.
If it does get there, because Puertas hasn't been 5 rounds since 2018.
Well, it seems like he came prepared because his condition doesn't seem slowing down right now, and he's continuing to push the pace. So I feel he's used to this pressure. Crossing distance, staying on him, making it an ugly fight, not letting Superlek get his game going. And I think in the 4th and 5th round, you're going to see huge dividends pay off.
What's he doing well here, Rich? What are you seeing? I like the shell. You were talking about the shell, and he's deflecting a lot of these shots.
This is that forward pressure that I was talking about. Puertas is coming in and putting Superlek's back on the cage.
When it's kickboxing, you can't clinch. You only can throw one knee when you clinch. And if you go back to the heel upper motor versus just crossing distance over and over and over and trying, they're changing.
This is the first time that we've seen Superlek moving forward. And he talked about working his hands in camp. Maybe this is the switch hands. Puertas is hurt.
Under siege.
He's got to move. He's got to circle. He's got to get out of there. Circle and move. And, you know, that knee almost knocked on that right to the chin.
Opening minute of the 3rd round. Big right, big knee. Superlek teeing off.
Good head movement by Puertas.
He can just move off angle and be able to get up and going.
Head kick from Superlek, and then another knee. And another.
Hey, this is all part of the game plan, all right? Don't you worry.
Uppercut from Puertas. He continues to fire strikes back.
You can see Puertas' footwork has changed here. He's really starting to widen his stance, dig into the ground, and he's looking for that one big punch.
Here we go. See now. Ooh, that was a low blow again.
Keep that jab out there. Keep throwing those leg kicks.
Now it's coming down to who's in better condition, right? Superlek just unloaded, probably 25, combination.
So he was only preparing for 3 rounds. Last minute, Anahachi drops out. He
On a
gets
different pace in the fight.
And you see that big deep breath Superlek just took a huge.
Look at this. This is what we're talking about. Daniel Puertas closing that distance, throwing those hands, looking for a home for his hands. Puertas, that was the one right there. Look at him. Good job of using the fence to stay upright.
Yeah, he was actually razor close, in my opinion, of possibly getting a standing 8 count here because it wasn't
forward the whole fight. Besides the last round, where Superlek was really pushing forward to try to change the narrative. Got to close that distance.
This is that range I was talking about before, where Puertas is standing right there in the mid-range, where Superlek is just throwing those kicks. Coming in, get in, tight on the inside.
And that's where Daniel wants to be, right there. Put Superlek trying to decide what is he going to do. Where he wants to clinch. He wants that clinch, right? He wants that clinch to stop.
Massive fight in America in early May.
Hey, it feels good. It feels good to be here and to try to share some of my knowledge surface side with you gentlemen. And I think Daniel's got to keep keeping that pressure there because Superlek cannot break that. Where Superlek needs that distance. He wants to be able to throw, right? So just keep crossing that distance and force him to clinch. And maybe the ref can take a point.
What's the difference between clinching and
Daniel's, arsenal? Because when he gets in this range, I believe Daniel is winning this fight.
Puertas heavy shots to close out the round, even with the blood.
You just kick them, just kick him. Yeah, just punch him, punch his leg, kick him.
Man, Brent, I'm starting to wonder if Superlek underestimated Mr. Puertas.
Left side of his eye.
Listen, I'm not going to let DJ Mitch out on me like that, so who do you have ahead on the scorecards after 4?
You know what, I'm gonna go ahead and go it's even. 2-2.
And perhaps deciding round in this world title fight.
Grab me, please.
Here he comes again, Puertas on the offensive. Head kick though from Superlek on the way out. Another one from Superlek. 2 minutes to go in this world title fight.
Yeah, it's very hard to see who's scoring and who's up and who's down.
This is a good little kicking defense from Puertas with at least an answer for Puertas, and I like that this round. And he's got the yellow card.
There we go, right there. Hit with the right hand. Once he clinches, well, he's not clinching anymore. He's just ducking his head in there once he gets that distance.
You know, Mitch, you mentioned the yellow card, and that's going to affect the score of this round, I'm sure, but this isn't judged in its entirety, so it's only going to help him out in this round, so to speak. This is all going to depend on how the judges have the earlier rounds of this match scored.
Pretend judge over there had it 2-2, Mr. DJ.
As I'm watching it, like I said, I don't know how the judge is going to score it when Superlek throws a high kick and Daniel blocks it with his glove. Like, how do you score it, right? I mean, it looks bad, but, he is blocking it. Now here's Superlek going forward.
But normally we're going to count in one of our highest scoring categories, which is damage, Rich. So how are they scoring these when he's taking them all in the arm?
But see, but now you're seeing Superlek in the last 10 seconds use a clinch. He threw 3 knees in the clinch, right? So that's one of the things when you see these ties go to
Brent, what a great matchup between these two, from start to finish. No man's land where Superlek can land those punches, But this fight just got gritty between the two of these guys, man. Superlek started using his leg only, but as the fight went on, Puertas just kept pressing and pressing forward with that pressure. Had just been clinching and clinching the entire time in this kickboxing match, but this was the finish right here. Bell to bell, these guys were just throwing down left and right. It was a story of a close match.
It was a tough fight against an ultra tough opponent. How confident were you when Dom Lau was reading the judges' scorecards?
ผมไม่เคยประมาทคู่ต่อสู้
I've never been careless towards any of my opponents ever. I was pretty confident.
And new undisputed flyweight kickboxing champion of the world, Superlek.